Sewing a stretchy fabric is difficult for many sewists. This is because every time they sew on this fabric, it results in puckering. This result spoils the fabric and the sewist's confidence. It is possible, however, to sew stretchy fabrics without puckering. A skill that, if they gain, many sewists will love working with stretchy fabrics. How to sew stretchy fabric without puckering? There are a few tricks you can use to sew stretch fabric without puckering. One of the most common tricks is using a zigzag stitch. You can also use a twin needle, or choose a polyester thread to sew your stretchy fabrics. Watch on to see how you can apply these tricks, and more to reduce puckering in your stretchy fabric. Tips to stop the stretchy fabric from puckering: choice of needle. When sewing with stretchy fabric, the choice of the needle that you use matters. To sew stretchy fabric without puckering, you have two needle types to choose from. You can choose the twin needle, or the ballpoint needle. Both of these needle types help you to prevent puckering when you use them to sew a piece of stretchy fabric. A ballpoint needle has a rounded tip that does not pour holes onto your stretchy fabric. A twin needle creates a stitch that brings together the stretch fabric, instead of pulling apart, which causes puckering. Choice of thread. Another way to ensure that stretchy fabric does not pucker is to choose a thread that handles stretch fabric well. Many sewists propose that you use polyester thread for this purpose. Polyester thread does not stretch much, hence why it is a good choice. Do not use cotton thread when you sew stretchy fabric. It is easy to break and cause puckering. Stitches you use. When you sew stretchy fabric, there are certain stitches you should stick to. The narrow zigzag stitch is highly recommended. You can also set your sewing machine to stretch stitch, which stretches with the fabric, thus eliminating puckering. It is also good for sewing stretchy fabric. Use tissue. You can also use tissue to ensure that your stretchy fabric is not puckered. Place a tissue on the fabric that you are sewing so that the needle hits the tissue before it gets to the fabric. Tug gently on the fabric as you sew. In the end, cut the sewing threads. This is an effective method to prevent puckering on stretchy fabric. Remove the tissue from the fabric after sewing. You can also use printing or pattern paper if you do not have a tissue nearby. Use a cover stitch machine. A cover stitch machine provides high-quality stitching on stretchy fabric. It prevents puckering and stretching of the fabric. Tips to cut stretch fabric. Before you sew on stretchy fabric, you need to know how to cut it properly. The first thing you need to know before you start cutting the fabric is that it has a grain. This means how the thread runs on the fabric. Stretchy fabric has threads running vertically and horizontally. You will therefore find that one side stretches more than the other. When cutting this fabric, make sure that you follow the grain so that you do not have one part that stretches more than the other. Another way to cut stretchy fabric properly is to fold it. Cut the fabric at a fold.